Before we start the story, I just want to highlight how it ends. Do I regret anything? Hell no. Frick her and the rest of them. I've been done with them for the longest anyway and don't need anyone in my life who just wants me to toe the family line and disregard my feelings. Yeah, sounds like this is going to be a great time. It all started 2 months ago with the OP talking about how they would refuse to go to their sister's wedding. My 44 male sister, who's 41, and I have been no contact for 2 years. The long and short of it is that we never got along, especially as adults. She is a whiny hypocrite, an unapologetic homophobe, and all around unpleasant person to be around. So, yesterday I got an invitation to her wedding and I said no. The reason? I was babysitting my nephew, 5-year-old at the time. We were watching one of those kid shows and he was cuddled up to me and he turns to me and asks, "Why is mummy so upset about you touching me?" I look at him and asked what he meant by that. He tells me, "Mummy said that I was to tell her if you touched me wrong because you're gay and like boys."
Oh! Damn, this is the first story too. Oh, I swear I'm a man. This is the first story too.
She chose that moment to walk in from her date, and I tell the kid to go to his room while glaring at my sister. Once he leaves, I ask her, "What the frick have you been telling him? You told him I was a pedophile?" I'm so angry and hurt that I'm shaking. My chest is hurting, and I can barely breathe. She says, "Well, you know how you derogatory slurs are. I'm just protecting my son." I almost hit her, but I just left. Cried all the way home and haven't spoken to her since. Anyway, back to today. I get a call from my other sister, who's 39, asking if I got an invite. I said, yes, and I'm not going. You know why. She tells me I need to get over it. It was 2 years ago and she's apologized. She hasn't. When I point that out, 39 female tries to rug sweep because we're family. Ploy. I hung up on her. Now it sounds like it's just, that's it, right? You know, doesn't seem like it needs another update. Oh, but it's just some extra info I think you need to consider just to understand she's not just a homophobe. She also doesn't know how to raise a child. Or seemingly tries to do what our last Australia Prime Minister did and go on holiday when there's a disaster happening. Before I get to the update, let me clear up a few things from my last post. 1, my sister no longer has custody of my nephew after abandoning him for 4 months with our other sister to travel overseas to meet some internet rando. That's another long story, lol. 2, my nephew is in his father's custody and I am in his life and am still his favorite uncle. I think he just likes that my cats love him. 3, I haven't spoken to my sister in 2 years and don't plan on doing so, even if she apologizes. So the update of the wedding. My sister, the wannabe peacekeeper, has been put on notice that if she tries to play the family guilt card, she will be cut off too. She relented and hasn't mentioned the wedding or my other sister. Her mother, we have different mothers because our sperm donor was a serial cheater, tried to get involved. I told her she isn't my mother and she has no say in what I do, and I told her to back off, then blocked her. The one who is getting married has, true to her form, told her version of the story and had tried to turn people against me, but when that didn't work, sent her fiancé to my house on Monday. And that was the biggest mistake she could have made. Hey, I'm progressive. I don't assume pronouns. I just mix them up. I told him why I'm no contact with her, and the version she told excludes what she accused me of. She told him that I owed her money and refused to pay her. She is the one that owes me, but I wrote it off to the game when I went no contact with her. And my other gay siblings are boycotting her wedding too, and we are planning a trip to our family farm in South Carolina for the day of the week of the wedding. And here's an interesting conspiracy theory from a top comment. Did the fiancé give any thought to the implications of the sister calling you a pedo? By that, I mean, is she willing to play the false pedo accusations card on you? I mean, would she do it to her new husband? And I mean, look, probably not. Because, I mean, if she's getting married to him, she's pretty certain he's not gay, so she's not going to be derogatory to him. But look, if she's willing to try to turn the tails around to make her come across as a saint all the time, I would not doubt the moment things fall apart for that marriage, and they will, that she's going to accuse him of everything she can to get away scot-free. So after all that, we come to 2 days ago where, the sister's fallen flat on her booty, because the wedding has been cancelled. This is a long one, so strap in. After I told my sister's now ex-fiancé the truth about why I wasn't going to attend the wedding, he went back to my sister and told her what I told him. Of course, she told him I was lying, blah blah blah. He then called me and told me what she said. I told him I had a plan. So, me being the petty bitch I am, I told him to meet me at a local restaurant and bring her with him. The trap is set, and now I await my prey. The time comes, and I get there a few minutes early to get my favorite table at the back of the restaurant to have some privacy, just in case things get heated. After about 20 minutes, they walk in. She sees me, goes pale. He guides her over, and they sit down. I waste no time. You're a liar. You called me a pedo and are a raging homophobe. You thought I was gonna rug sweep your bullshit and play big happy family? What makes you think I would do that? I didn't say that, and I'm not— Okay, we'll do this the hard way. I pull out my phone and dial my nephew and put him on speaker. She tries to get up, but the fiancé tells her to sit down and let's get this over with. He recounts what he remembers, which is pretty much what I told the fiancé. I thank him and hang up. I will admit I was a bit smug when I looked at her. She is glaring at me with absolute hatred. If looks could kill, I would have been ashes in my chair. She turns to her fiancé and he tells her in the coldest voice I've ever heard on a man. You lied to me. The wedding is off. Give me my ring back now. She sputters some excuse and he cuts her off. You were exactly what he said you were. My sister is gay and I would not let you treat her like she's less than. Give me my ring and leave. I have things to discuss with your brother. Y'all! She causes a scene and tries to throw silverware at me, calling me all sorts of F-word and other gay slurs. She throws the ring at him and stomps out before the staff can call the police. Me and the ex-fiancé have a couple of drinks and leave soon after. We exchange numbers and promise to keep in touch. He turned out to be heaps cool and we became instant friends. And that ends that, right? Of course it doesn't! A week later, I get a text from my brother that she is spreading the rumor that the wedding is off because— wait for it! I seduced her fiancé and we are a couple now! What the frick? So I take her off my blocked list on the Book of Faces and find the post and comment what really happened. The whole story. Her friends read her the riot act of her delusional lies, and the post disappeared right before she blocked me. My family is, of course, taking sides, and most of them are telling me I was wrong because I should have just sucked it up and fell in line, etc. My other gay sibs are completely on my side, and I have gone no contact with most of my family, which was a long time coming anyway. Do I regret anything? Hell no. Frick her and the rest of them. I've been done with them for the longest anyway, and don't need anyone in my life who just wants me to toe the family line and disregard my feelings. If you made it this far, thanks for reading, and thanks for all the love and support on my previous posts. These are by far my favorite updates, where there's actually a resolution. Gotta love how just typical though it was of her to accuse him of being seduced. Like, it goes to show that we were right then to possibly theorize that she'd try and label him a pedo as well, just because she wasn't getting her way. On the topic of this mum's hypocrisy though, what I don't get is, abandoning her son is okay, but homophobia is not? I guess people have lines drawn on what kind of schmitty behavior they'll ignore. Maybe fiancé thought she lost custody due to past issues that she had since remedied about herself. Addiction, mental health issues, etc. I bet she just told a sob story about the boy's father having an entire team of evil lawyers. Oh hey, did my mum have more kids after she stopped showing up to see me? I was in my 20s when I reconnected with my bio-mum side of the family on Facebook and found out that they all had bought her story of my father's team of high-priced lawyers. Nope. She just quit showing up to visitation, which is all she got in their custody arrangement between the abuse and neglect, and also not showing up to court dates. OP and my mother's family are boat steadiers. They don't want people to tell the truth out loud because it's harder to ignore it that way. And okay, this Lily Luck's here story is actually pretty interesting to dive into more. It was really cathartic. Young Lily Luck myself struggled a lot with feeling unwanted by both her and her family. She showed up hours late to visitation, and my dad reiterated for the 1000th time that she needed to be on time. We were leaving for a family vacation afterwards. She created a dramatic screaming scene and demanded he apologize to her. And then she just never came back. I was 11, didn't hear from her until I was 18 when she sent me an email that she had always the freaking address for, inviting herself to my graduation. I told her we could meet and try to reconnect another time in private, but that my graduation was for me and my dad and stepmom, the parents that raised me. Never heard from her again. Found out after a lot of questions on Facebook from various people that the story was my father's team of high-priced lawyers, her actual words, kept us from her and that we had been brainwashed to hate her. I didn't hate her. I wanted my mum for so long. So I made a big post on Facebook describing the abuse that led to the supervised visitation and the years of maybe she will and maybe she won't actually show up until she finally stopped showing up at all. And how I never in my life wanted to hear another freaking accusation against my father, who did an amazing job trying to be a single dad to 2 young kids who didn't understand why their mum didn't want them. That I had seen the court records online and she was full of Schmidt to the brim, and anyone who didn't believe it could look it up for themselves. No one ever messaged me about her ever again. So I guess it worked. We'll move on to another story now. This one started in 2020, didn't get updated until later this year, and you're going to read the original with me, and yes, you're going to think it's bizarre. You're going to wonder how the hell don't they see that they're the a-hole here. As you'll see in the other update, a lot gets revealed, and makes oneself hopeful that maybe others out there who actually post their stories on the internet actually take people's opinions into account and try to better themselves as a result. Am I the buttface for trashing my room and blanking my housemates? I live in a house that I rent with a couple and we split the bills and rent equitably. Let's call them Alice and John. So me, 30-year-old female. I have emotional unstable personality disorder. I like to think I'm self-aware, so I know I'm the a-hole in most situations. Alice is a female, 23. She's a spoilt little bitch, typical only child. Everything must go her way. John, male, 24. He's a little bitch in a different sense. Lodged a foot up her vagina. Alice constantly berates him for everything. So yeah, you can understand why everyone's immediately thinking, you sound like an absolute a-hole. Oh, but it's okay, guys. They're self-aware. 3 weeks ago, I was having a bad day, drinking heavily in my room. I got worked up, and I dumped a lot of stuff on my sides of the floor. I trashed my room, and I was maybe closing doors too hard when I went down to get something. It wasn't too late, 9 p.m.-ish. So late. In the end, I went off to sleep. Next evening, I texted on our group chat that the landlord might pop around. Not for an inspection, just to pick up mail. That's when the sanctimonious preaching began. Alice, best get tidying then. I hope you haven't damaged anything up in that room, because doors slamming and things being chucked around is not the best idea in somewhere you don't own, especially when the landlord is coming around. There's already enough marks all over the walls. There's some marks around the house from all of us, mainly from moving in. Me, Jesus Christ, you're not my freaking mother. The walls are fine. The walls aren't fine. They're marked, but that's not the point. You may not care about losing the deposit, but it's a massive stress for us, as we don't have a lot of money. It's our home, but it's not our house. It's just a good to respect it a bit more. I mean the walls of my freaking room. It's going to be like every other place I've lived in. We lose a bit on some small things, but we get most of it. Stop the constant freaking stressing over every little thing. Oh god, yeah, I would hate to live with you. Frick me, Little Miss Perfect. Don't give me the holier-than-thou Schmidt. I'm past the point of willing to put up with it. If you want to bitch at someone over pointless Schmidt, then I'm sure John has breathed in a way that disappoints you today. I don't want to have to lose any at all. We don't earn half as much as you. It's unfair when we are trying our best to keep it nice, so I just expect the same and don't want it taken out of my share of the deposit if we do lose any. We will lose some. You always lose some. It's basically impossible. Oh my freaking god, shut the frick up. Acting like I'm a freaking the place up daily, carving my name in the walls or something. I just had a bad freaking day and threw a few things around. How often does that happen? And the walls are fine. Stop playing the freaking Marty, you stupid bitch. So obviously a very healthy communication, dialogue together. Since then, 3 weeks we've all been stubbornly blanking at each other, not talking even if we're in the same room. Am I the a-hole? While I was writing the title, I began to suspect I probably am. So on to the update. I randomly got additional comments on that post yesterday, and it emailed me and reminded me of it. I thought it might be worth updating. Looking back at the post and how I was acting in general back then is really painful. It turns out I was in the middle of a mental breakdown that I hadn't even noticed. After my housemates moved out, I went to a very dark headspace and was locked in a mental ward for several months. Eventually, I got out and moved back to my parents' house. I've been there ever since. It was later discovered that I was misdiagnosed with EUPD. I'm actually autistic, and no one had realized, so I was getting completely the wrong help for years. Now, none of that is an excuse for my behavior, of course. I was awful and impossible to be around. I don't really have much contact with my former housemates, but we have spoken a little. I apologize, and we're on okay terms. I'm much calmer and more stable now. I mostly just keep to myself. I'm thinking of finding a place of my own soon, but on my own this time. I also wanted to say thank you to the people who messaged me to check on me and with advice after the post. In regards to the deposit though, well, after I got out of the ward, there was still a month left on the lease, so I went and thoroughly cleaned the house and sorted everything as best I could. And we got the full deposit back. No deductions.
Oh, that just feels wholesome.
Like, seriously, no, they've been living their life assuming that this was like this thing that always happens. You're always going to lose a bit of money. It's hopeless. And here we go. They got their life fixed up a little bit, took the effort to try and get that deposit back, and they got it back in full. Like, I don't know, that feels good. As a late 20s adult, this is my kind of feel-good moment. Some people didn't seem to read the part where they admitted that it's no excuse for their behavior. Autism is no excuse for your behavior. And now you're trying to pass the blame on your behavior onto anyone but yourself. But, like, she didn't, though. Stupid. You're so stupid. But yeah, overall, everyone's pretty supportive of this, and I think you should be. Like, for one thing, it's been 2 years now, and it sounds like you've made efforts to rectify things with your previous housemates. Obviously, they don't owe you their forgiveness and such, but good on them for willing to hear you out. I don't want to be too judgy on the system for the misdiagnosis, because, let's be honest, brains are extremely complicated. Psychology is constantly evolving and changing. The science of our brain is constantly changing. I didn't even know that emotional instability, personality disorder was a thing until now, though I feel like that just more exposes my lack of knowledge. Really does make you wonder, though, those kind of people you've come across who have been complete a-holes or behaving in a way based on something that was told about themselves. Wonder what they're up to now. Wonder if they've gotten better from this thing, or, you know, they've discovered something about themselves that's caused them to have this huge epiphany moment and just changed for the better. Would you give them a chance, though? 2 years later? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Anyway, we'll end things there, of course. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Been an absolute blast having you here. Like and subscribe for more stories on the daily. I'll try to do them on the daily. Got a lot of stuff in the background outside of YouTube work that really has been taking up my time, unfortunately. But otherwise, you be good. Love your face. See you next time. Bye-bye.